Welcome back. So today we are going to completely transform how you look at that beautiful amaryllis sitting right there on your table. We're going to take it from being just a simple throwaway holiday decoration and turn it into a literal multiplying investment that's going to reward you year after year. Okay, let's dive right into this. Because think about it, most people just toss these gorgeous plants in the trash after a single season, right? They enjoy the winter blooms and boom, into the garbage the bulb goes. But in this explainer, we're actually going to learn the exact science and some pretty cool insider secrets to keep them thriving for years. We're talking about turning a single, one-time purchase into a lifetime of floral beauty. Here's our quick roadmap for today's explainer. We'll cover choosing your bulb, planting and watering basics, the blooming progression, how to get long-lasting cut flowers, the absolute secret to reblooming, and finally, propagating baby amaryllis bulbs. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, choosing your amaryllis bulb and why size and origin really matter. So, when you're out shopping, you really want to keep a close eye on the measurements. Amaryllis bulbs are actually sold by their circumference in centimeters. And here's the thing. Bigger bulbs, like these premium 34 to 36 centimeter ones, they don't just give you one flower. They yield 3 to 5 flowering spikes. Now contrast that with those standard box-to-grow kits you see literally everywhere. Those are usually, maybe 22 to 26 centimeters, and they're going to give you 1, maybe 2 spikes if you're lucky. So spending a few extra bucks on a slightly larger bulb, it pays off exponentially in the sheer volume of blooms you're going to get. But hey, it's not just about size. A bulb's origin matters just as much. See, amaryllis bloom in sync with their home country's calendar. If you pick a Southern Hemisphere bulb, say from South Africa or Peru, you get these fast, primed blooms in just 4 to 6 weeks. Why? Because they've just finished their summer and are absolutely desperate to bloom. Northern Hemisphere bulbs, like the ones from Holland, they take about 8 to 12 weeks because they're on our exact winter schedule. Knowing exactly where your bulb is from is literally the secret to timing your holiday display perfectly. Moving right along to Section 2, planting and watering basics. Let's set this up for success. Okay, so amaryllis really like it tight. You want a super snug pot. A 6-inch deep terracotta pot for a large bulb is perfect. You're aiming for just about 1 inch of clearance between the bulb and the edge of the pot. Fill it halfway with some pre-moistened soil. And listen closely here because this is the absolute crucial step, it's all about the depth. You have to leave the top third, meaning the shoulders and the neck of the bulb, fully exposed above the dirt line. This is absolutely essential for the health of the plant. Now, you might be wondering, why on earth is leaving that top part exposed so important? Well, because watering directly into the nose of the bulb over and over, it'll cause it to rot right from the inside out. It's a tragic, mushy mistake, and it basically ends the plant's life before it even really begins. So instead, you only want to water the perimeter of the bulb. Give it roughly half a cup of tepid water once a week when it's actively growing. Just keep that top completely dry. Seriously, no water on the nose. Okay, Section 3, the blooming progression, from pencil to petal. Once it's planted, you'll want to put your pot in a warm, bright spot. Honestly, even right on top of a radiator works beautifully. Before long, you're going to see some really thick growth emerging. And it's kind of funny. Sometimes it's leaves first, sometimes stalks, sometimes both. The plant definitely has a mind of its own. But here is a fantastic pro trick for you. Once you spot that distinct, tightly closed bud reaching what's known as the pencil stage, you want to take it away from that warm radiator. Dropping the ambient temperature just by moving it to a cooler location will dramatically extend the life of those gorgeous flowers once they actually open. So the amaryllis is a little bit rebellious in how it sprouts, for sure, but it is incredibly orderly in how it blooms. The buds drop horizontally, and they actually take turns opening in this successive, beautiful ring. And because they open sequentially, it makes sense that they also fade sequentially. The golden rule here is to immediately pop off those faded blooms one by one as they die. It sounds harsh, but this simple action stops the plant from wasting its precious energy trying to create seed pods. It conserves all that vital energy right back into the bulb for next year. Which brings us to Section 4, long-lasting cut flowers, flora secrets. I know so many people who are absolutely terrified to cut their expensive amaryllis plants. But listen, doing so does not decrease your flower show at all. In fact, these things are incredibly hardy as cut flowers. Get this, a cut stem placed in cool water can last up to 3 weeks in a vase right next to your bed. It is just a wonderful, striking way to bring that dramatic color into other rooms of your house. But to build a truly sturdy, florist-quality cut flower, you do have to support it properly. See, amaryllis stems are hollow, and that means they are super prone to splitting or curling at the base. So to prevent this, you just insert a thin bamboo cane right up that hollow stem. Then turn the flower upside down, fill the stem with water, and plug it with a little piece of cotton. That helps draw the moisture up. Wrap some clear tape around the bottom, and finally, just like you do with a lily, pull off those pollinanthers so they don't stain the delicate petals. Follow those steps and you're going to look like an absolute pro florist. All right, Section 5, the secret to reblooming, a decadal investment. If you want to get those spectacular holiday blooms year after year, we really have to understand the concept of dormancy. Dormancy basically forces the plant to rest and reset. Without this strict resting phase in a cool, dark environment, and I mean completely deprived of water, the bulb just will not trigger the formation of a new flowering stalk for the winter season. It absolutely 100% needs this downtime. This schedule for reblooming, it's basically your ultimate cheat sheet. First, just keep treating the green leaves like a normal houseplant all through the spring. Then, in May, once the danger of frost has totally passed, move the pot outside. You want it to soak up that intense summer sun, sending massive amounts of energy straight down into the bulb. By mid-August, it's time to aggressively force that dormancy we just talked about. Bring it inside to a dark basement at around 50 to 55 degrees and give it zero water for 2 to 3 months. Zero. Finally, late October or November rolls around and you wake it up. Clean off the dead, papery scales to prevent fungus gnats, water the perimeter, put it in a warm, bright spot, and boom, the cycle beautifully repeats itself. Okay, moving to our final phase, Section 6, propagating baby amaryllis bulbs. Free plants! Now, as you unearth and clean your bulb during that late fall wake-up period we just went over, you might discover something pretty awesome. Offsets. Offsets are literal daughter-baby amaryllis bulbs that naturally grow attached to the side of the main mother bulb. Think of them as little clones, just waiting to be unleashed so they can grow into their own totally independent plants. The really crucial point here is how to separate them safely. Now, you should only do this while the plant is fully dormant. Take the whole root ball out and just shake off all the soil so you can clearly see the root tangles. Then, and this is key, instead of taking a knife to it, just gently and patiently pull the daughter bulb away from the mother. Slowly untangle their roots. Once they're free, plant that mother bulb back in her pot and pop the new baby into its own perfectly snug, tiny little pot. Just, temper your expectations a bit. That baby bulb will likely need about 2 full years of growing leaves before it's mature enough to actually produce its very first flower. But hey, it's a free plant. So, armed with all this incredible horticultural knowledge, how are you going to choose to nurture your amaryllis this season? Are you going to enjoy it nice and tight in its pot? Or are you going to confidently slice it for a dramatic 3-week bedside vase arrangement? Or maybe you'll carefully guide it through dormancy to propagate a literal lifetime of free holiday blooms. The choice and the beauty of it all is now entirely in your hands. Thanks for tuning into this explainer, and happy growing!